From the shadows of a distant nebula, Commander Sarah Chen watched the alien fleet pass through her sector. Her stealth observation post, hidden within an asteroid's crystalline core, was one of thousands scattered throughout the galaxy. For 3 centuries, humanity had watched, waited, and prepared from these hidden outposts while the rest of the galaxy believed them extinct. The alien vessels, sleek Arvanian warships with their distinctive purple-hued engines, moved in perfect formation, unaware they were being studied. Sarah's quantum sensors captured every detail. Their shield frequencies, weapon configurations, crew complement. All data fed directly into humanity's vast hidden network. "Another patrol right on schedule," she murmured, adding notes to her report. They never deviate from their patterns. The Arvanians, like most spacefaring species, had grown complacent in their perceived dominance of the galaxy. They believed the stories of humanity's extinction after the Great Purge, tales of how their ancestors had united with other species to drive the dangerous humans back to Earth and bombard it into submission. If only they knew. Deep beneath Earth's scarred surface, in vast underground cities and sealed bunkers, humanity had survived. Not just survived, thrived. The surface devastation had been real, but it had also been the perfect cover. While alien civilizations celebrated their victory and gradually forgot about the human threat, mankind had rebuilt in secret, advancing their technology far beyond anything their would-be destroyers could imagine. Sarah's observation post suddenly pinged with an alert. Her holographic displays highlighted an anomaly in the Arvanian fleet's formation, a slight variance in their shield harmonics. She smiled. After centuries of watching, humanity had learned to read the subtle signs. The Arvanians were preparing for war again, likely against the Centaurian alliance in the neighboring sector. "Central Command, this is Outpost Sigma-17. She transmitted through quantum channels undetectable by conventional sensors. Confirming pattern Omega. Arvanian fleet showing pre-conflict configurations. The response came instantly. Acknowledged, Commander. Continue observation. Maintain protocol." Sarah leaned back in her chair, remembering the history lessons from her youth. The aliens had thought they were protecting the galaxy by attempting to destroy humanity. They feared human ingenuity, human adaptability, human determination. They feared how quickly Earth's children had advanced from their first steps into space to matching technologies that other species had taken millennia to develop. But their attempted genocide had only proved humanity's greatest strengths. Instead of breaking under the assault, humans had unified as never before. The surface destruction forced them underground, where they built vast arcologies and developed technologies that seemed like magic even by galactic standards. Quantum computing, dark energy manipulation, consciousness transfer. While alien civilizations stagnated in their complacency, humanity leaped forward in secret. Their greatest achievement was the Quantum Observation Network, invisible, untraceable stations throughout the galaxy, gathering intelligence and waiting for the day humanity would reemerge. Sarah's thoughts were interrupted by another alert. This one was different, a Priority 1 signal from Central Command. Her hands flew across the holographic interface as she decoded the message. Her eyes widened as she read. Implementation of PR Utosito Alpha Winix authorized. Phase U1 begins in 72 HOURs. All OBC or ovation POSTS per or ACTIGHION. After 3 centuries of waiting, it was finally happening. Humanity was about to reveal itself to the galaxy again. Sarah felt a shiver of anticipation as she began the activation sequence for systems that had laid dormant since the outpost's construction. The Arvanians and other species had forgotten why they had feared humanity in the first place. They had grown soft, confident in their supposed victory. They told themselves that humans had been dangerous primitives who needed to be put down for the galaxy's safety. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Humanity hadn't been destroyed. They had been preparing. Every patrol the aliens flew, every transmission they sent, every technological advancement they made had been observed, analyzed, and countered. Humanity didn't just match alien technology anymore. They had far surpassed it. As Sarah initiated her outpost's transformation sequence, watching as hidden weapon systems and shield generators powered up for the first time, she allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had tried to destroy humanity out of fear. Now they would learn what real fear was. But there was something the aliens had never understood about humans. Even now, after centuries of hiding and preparing, humanity's goal wasn't revenge. They had spent their time in exile learning, growing, advancing, not just technologically, but emotionally and philosophically. They emerged not as conquerors, but as guardians. The galaxy needed protection from itself. The endless cycles of war and conquest Sarah had observed over the centuries proved that humanity would return not to destroy, but to preserve, to guide, to protect. Even if they had to protect the galaxy from itself. A new alert flashed across her display. The Arvanian fleet was changing course, moving toward the Centaurian border. Soon, they would start another senseless war. Unless Sarah's quantum link chimed with a new message from Central Command. Begin intervention protocol. Prevent ARVANIA and AGG reaccession. Minimal 4C authorized. She smiled as she activated systems that had waited centuries to be used. Humanity's return would begin not with a bang, but with a quiet act of prevention. The Arvanians would never know why their ships suddenly lost power, or why their weapons refused to fire. They would find no evidence of interference, no explanation for their failure. But they would learn, as would all the galaxy's species. Humanity had evolved beyond the need for violence and conquest. They had become something more. And after centuries of watching from the shadows, they were ready to step into the light. Sarah's fingers danced across her controls as she prepared to give the Arvanians their first lesson in humanity's new role in the galaxy. "Let's begin," she whispered. The silent watchers would be silent no more. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known as the Crucible, Director Marcus Zhang stood before a holographic display showing Sarah Chen's intervention with the Arvanian fleet. He wasn't alone. Similar scenes played out in observation posts across the galaxy as humanity's hidden sentinels prevented yet another pointless war. "Impressive work," he murmured, watching the confusion spread through the alien fleet as their systems mysteriously malfunctioned. But it's only the beginning. Project Phoenix had been humanity's contingency plan since the day they retreated underground. Not just a military strategy or technological development program, but a complete reimagining of humanity's role in the galaxy. For 3 centuries, they had evolved, advancing not just their technology, but their understanding of life, consciousness, and reality itself. The Crucible was the heart of this evolution. A vast complex of laboratories and research centers stretching through the ocean floor, it housed humanity's greatest achievements. Here, scientists had unlocked the secrets of quantum manipulation, allowing them to affect matter and energy at fundamental levels. They had developed consciousness transfer technology, enabling human minds to exist in multiple forms simultaneously. But their greatest achievement was something the alien species could never have imagined. Marcus moved through the facility's central chamber, where a massive crystalline structure pulsed with internal light. The Nexus, they called it. A quantum computer network that linked every human mind, every observation post, every piece of technology they had created. Not an artificial intelligence, but a synthesis of human consciousness and advanced technology. "Director," a voice called. Dr. Elena Patel, his chief researcher, approached with an urgent expression. "We're detecting unusual activity in the Centaurian sector. The Alliance is mobilizing despite the Arvanian retreat." Marcus nodded, unsurprised. They don't know why their enemies turned back. They're preparing for what they think is coming. He touched a control panel, expanding the holographic display. "Show me the pattern analysis." The Nexus responded instantly, projecting centuries of data collected by observation posts. Patterns of conflict, alliance, and betrayal played out across the galaxy's history. The alien species were trapped in cycles they couldn't see, endless repetitions of war and peace, rise and fall. "It's time," Marcus declared. "Initiate Phase 2. Throughout the Crucible, systems that had waited centuries hummed to life. In hidden shipyards beneath every ocean, vessels unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen prepared for launch. They weren't just warships. They were extensions of human consciousness, powered by technology that bordered on the miraculous. But Project Phoenix wasn't about overwhelming force. Humanity had learned from their observers that brute strength alone would never bring lasting peace. The project's true purpose was transformation, not just of humanity, but of the entire galaxy. "Send word to all observation posts," Marcus ordered. "Begin the awakening sequence." Across the galaxy, hidden quantum transmitters activated. Every alien communication system, from the most primitive to the most advanced, received the same message, a simple pattern of pulses that meant nothing to their conscious minds, but spoke directly to their subconscious understanding. "They won't know what it means yet," Alina said, watching the transmission spread. "But they'll feel it, the first stirring of recognition." Marcus smiled. Recognition of what they've forgotten, what they tried to destroy but never understood. The message carried more than information. It carried the essence of humanity's evolution, the understanding they had gained during their centuries of observation, the realization that consciousness itself was the key to transcending the cycles of conflict. In the Crucible's lower levels, rows of stasis pods began their awakening sequence. Inside each one, a human being who had volunteered for the next phase stirred to life. They were the Phoenixes, individuals who had undergone extensive genetic and consciousness modification, preparing them to serve as bridges between humanity and the alien species. "The Centaurians and Arvanians will be the first," Marcus said, reviewing the data streams. "Their conflict makes them perfect candidates for intervention." Alina raised an eyebrow. "You mean for enlightenment?" "Same thing." Marcus touched another control, and the holographic display showed the locations of every Phoenix team. "They fear what they don't understand. We'll help them understand." The Nexus pulsed with increasing intensity as Project Phoenix entered its next phase. In observation posts throughout the galaxy, hidden technology began its transformation. The watching was over. Now came the time for action. But not the kind of action the aliens would expect. They had tried to destroy humanity out of fear of their potential for violence. Now they would experience humanity's potential for something far more powerful, the ability to transcend conflict itself. "All Phoenix teams report ready," Alina announced. "Quantum insertion points identified. Mental resonance patterns aligned." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of centuries of preparation. "Commence Operation Enlightenment." Across the galaxy, humanity's hidden vessels emerged from their sanctuaries, not to attack, but to illuminate, not to conquer, but to awaken. Project Phoenix was about to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest power wasn't their technology or their adaptability. It was their capacity to evolve beyond the very concepts that kept the galaxy locked in endless cycles of conflict. They had become something new, something transcendent. And now, they would help the rest of the galaxy do the same. "Send the signal," Marcus ordered. "Let the transformation begin." The Centaurian High Command was in chaos. Admiral Vextar, supreme commander of their fleet, stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. The mysterious ships had appeared simultaneously across their territory, vessels of impossible design that defied their most advanced detection systems. They weren't attacking. They weren't even moving. They just waited. "Impossible," he whispered, watching as another scan failed to penetrate the vessel's outer hull. "No material should be able to." His words trailed off as every screen in the command center suddenly activated, displaying the same image, a human face. Not a recording or simulation, but a live transmission. Sarah Chen, now serving as humanity's first contact representative, looked calmly at the assembled alien leadership, people of the Centaurian Alliance. She began, her words automatically translating into their neural frequencies. "We need to talk." The response was immediate and predictable. Panic, defensive systems activating, weapons powering up. But nothing happened. Their most powerful weapons remained silent. Their shields refused to energize. Their emergency protocols failed to execute. "Please," Sarah continued, her expression gentle but firm. "If we wanted to harm you, we could have done so at any time in the past 3 centuries. We're here to help." In the crucible, Marcus watched the scene unfold through multiple quantum feeds. Similar conversations were happening across the galaxy as humanity revealed itself to every major power simultaneously. Each Phoenix team was in position, ready to begin the next phase. The Centaurians weren't the only ones discovering their weapons unusable. Across the galaxy, military systems were being quietly neutralized, not destroyed or damaged, simply rendered temporarily inert by technology that operated on principles the aliens couldn't begin to comprehend. "Your ancestors tried to destroy us," Sarah was saying to the stunned Centaurian leadership. "They feared what we might become. Now, let us show you what we actually became." Through quantum channels invisible to alien sensors, she initiated the demonstration. Above every major world in Centaurian space, the air began to shimmer. Reality itself seemed to bend as humanity revealed just a fraction of their true capabilities. Pollution vanished from atmospheres. Dying ecosystems regenerated in moments. Diseases that had plagued populations for generations simply ceased to exist, not through violence or force, but through fundamental manipulation of reality at a quantum level. "This is who we are now," Sarah explained to the awestruck aliens. "We spent our exile learning, growing, understanding. We discovered that the universe is far more complex and far more beautiful than anyone imagined." In orbit around the Centaurian homeworld, one of the human vessels finally moved. Its surface shifted like liquid metal, transforming into a structure that defied conventional physics. Inside, Phoenix team members prepared for direct contact. "We offer you a choice," Sarah continued. "You can continue the endless cycle of war and competition that has defined your history, or you can join us in something greater." The Centaurian leaders watched in stunned silence as the human vessel extended what appeared to be a bridge of pure energy, a quantum pathway between their civilizations. Through it stepped Alina Patel, her form simultaneously physical and energy, human and something more. "Let us show you what humanity has become," Alina said, extending her hand to Admiral Vextar. "Let us show you what you can become." The Admiral hesitated only briefly before reaching out. The moment their hands touched, his consciousness expanded. Through the quantum link, he experienced a fraction of humanity's evolution, the understanding they had gained, the perspective they had achieved. He saw the truth. The conflicts that had seemed so important moments ago now appeared as what they were: primitive expressions of fear and limited understanding. He saw the patterns that had trapped his people, the cycles they had never recognized. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. The Phoenix teams made contact, sharing not just information but experience. Understanding. Enlightenment. Some resisted, of course. The Arvanians, in particular, rejected the initial contact. But humanity had expected this. They had spent centuries studying every species, understanding their fears, their motivations, their potential for growth. In the crucible, Marcus watched the quantum feeds with satisfaction. "Phase 3 progressing as anticipated," he reported to the Nexus. Consciousness expansion proceeding within expected parameters. The real triumph wasn't in the technology they displayed or the powers they wielded. It was in showing the galaxy a new way of existing. Humanity had transcended the need for conflict not through superior firepower, but through superior understanding. They had become what their ancestors could never have imagined, not conquerors or victims, but teachers, guides, the ones who would help the galaxy's species break free from their cycles of violence and fear. The first contact was just the beginning. The real work, the transformation of consciousness itself, was about to begin, and humanity would lead the way. As the galactic civilization grappled with humanity's return, deeper truths began to emerge. In a secure chamber within the Nexus, Marcus and Elena prepared to reveal the full scope of humanity's influence over the centuries. The room hummed with quantum energy as representatives from every major species assembled, some physically present, others connected through consciousness links. Among them sat Admiral Vextar, his perception forever altered by his first contact experience. "You've seen what we've become," Marcus began, his voice resonating through both physical and quantum space. "But you haven't yet understood what we've done." With a gesture, he activated the chamber's full display capabilities. The room transformed into a three-dimensional map of the galaxy's history, not just events, but the invisible threads connecting them. Centuries of subtle manipulation and guidance unveil themselves. "The great innovation of the Trilaxian Empire," Elena said, highlighting a technological breakthrough that had saved billions. "Inspired by quantum data we seeded into their research networks. The Peace of Andromeda, carefully orchestrated through decades of subtle psychological influence." The alien representatives watched in growing amazement as humanity's hidden hand was revealed. The wars they had prevented, the advances they had guided, the catastrophes they had quietly averted, all part of a vast, intricate plan. "The consciousness expansion technology you're experiencing now," Marcus continued, "we developed it centuries ago. But we knew you weren't ready. You needed to evolve naturally, with just enough guidance to avoid self-destruction." Through the quantum link, they shared the truth of humanity's exile. How they had used their underground civilization not just to survive, but to transcend physical limitations. How they had developed the ability to exist simultaneously in multiple forms: physical, energy, quantum consciousness. "Your attempts to destroy us forced us to evolve," Elena explained. "We couldn't fight back conventionally, so we learned to influence reality itself. To guide without seeming to guide. To teach without appearing to teach." The revelation sparked a cascade of understanding through the assembled representatives. Every major advancement their civilizations had made, every step forward in consciousness and technology, had been subtly shaped by humanity's hidden influence. But it wasn't control or manipulation in the way they had feared. It was guidance, the careful nurturing of potential, the gentle nudging toward greater understanding. Humanity had become something between guardians and teachers, shepherding the galaxy's species toward their own transcendence. "We could have revealed ourselves at any time," Marcus said. "We could have emerged with overwhelming force. Instead, we chose to help you grow, to help you become ready for what comes next." Through the quantum link, they shared glimpses of what humanity had discovered during their exile: realities beyond physical space, consciousness that transcended individual existence, understanding that defied conventional physics. The alien representatives began to understand the true nature of Project Phoenix. It wasn't just about humanity's return. It was about the evolution of all conscious life in the galaxy. The hidden hand had been preparing them for this moment, this transformation. Some reacted with anger at having been manipulated, but through the quantum link, they could feel the truth of humanity's intentions. There was no malice, no desire for control, only a deep commitment to nurturing the potential for growth. "Your ancestors feared we would conquer the galaxy," Elena said. "Instead, we chose to guide it, to protect it, to help it evolve." The room hummed with increased quantum energy as the full implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had transcended the very concepts that had led to their attempted destruction. They had become something entirely new, something that defied conventional understanding. And now, they were offering that same transcendence to the galaxy. Through the quantum link, Marcus shared the next phase of their plan. Not conquest, not dominance, but partnership. a galactic civilization guided by expanded consciousness, free from the cycles of violence that had defined its history. The hidden hand was hidden no more. But its work was far from finished. The real transformation was just beginning. The transformation of the galaxy didn't happen overnight. Even with humanity's guidance, even with the quantum consciousness link, change took time. In the heart of the crucible, Sarah Chen watched the process unfold across countless worlds and civilizations. "They're ready for the final phase," she announced to Marcus and Alina, who stood before the pulsing core of the Nexus. "The resistance is fading." Not everyone had embraced humanity's return. The Arvanians, in particular, had fought against the changes, clinging to their old ways. But even they couldn't deny the evidence before them. Entire civilizations evolving beyond conflict, achieving technological and spiritual advances that would have seemed impossible months ago. "Show them," Marcus commanded, and the Nexus responded. Across the galaxy, reality itself seemed to shift. The quantum technology that humanity had perfected during their exile revealed its true purpose. It wasn't just about communication or consciousness expansion. It was about fundamental transformation of existence itself. The barriers between physical space began to dissolve. Consciousness expanded beyond individual minds, beyond species limitations. The galaxy's inhabitants experienced what humanity had discovered centuries ago. That reality was far more flexible, far more interconnected than anyone had imagined. "This is what we were preparing you for." Alina's voice echoed through the quantum link, reaching every connected mind. Not just technological advancement or peaceful coexistence, but this. Through the link, they shared humanity's greatest discovery. The universe was conscious, not in a mystical or religious sense, but in a fundamental, quantum way. Every particle, every energy wave, every moment of existence was part of a vast, interconnected consciousness, and humanity had learned to access it. The resistant species watched in awe as their most fortified worlds were gently transformed, not by force or violence, but by the fundamental restructuring of reality at the quantum level. Weapons of mass destruction simply ceased to exist, their constituent particles repurposed into tools of creation. "We didn't hide to survive," Marcus explained through the link. "We hid to evolve, to become what the galaxy needed. Not conquerors, not victims, but guides to the next stage of existence." The Nexus pulsed with unprecedented power as the final phase began. The quantum network that humanity had spent centuries building revealed its true nature, not just a communication system or a consciousness link, but a bridge to a higher state of existence. Across the galaxy, species that had once fought endless wars found themselves capable of direct consciousness sharing. They experienced each other's hopes, fears, dreams, not as abstract concepts, but as lived reality. The barriers between self and other, between species and species, began to blur. "This is who we are," Sarah broadcast through the link. "This is who you can become." The transformation wasn't forced. Each individual, each species, had the choice to embrace or reject the change. But those who accepted it found themselves evolving beyond their physical limitations, beyond their historical conflicts, beyond their very conception of existence. In the crucible, Marcus watched as the galaxy's consciousness expanded. The quantum readings showed what humanity had long known, that consciousness itself was the key to transcending the cycles of violence and fear that had plagued the galaxy for millennia. "The dawn of the new era," Alina whispered, watching as entire civilizations embraced their expanded consciousness, not through conquest or dominance, but through evolution and understanding. The Arvanians were the last to accept the change. Their resistance crumbled not through defeat, but through understanding. Through the quantum link, they experienced the truth that humanity had discovered, that their fears, their aggression, their need for control were all products of limited consciousness. As the final phase completed, the galaxy entered a state that defied conventional description. Physical reality remained, but consciousness had expanded beyond it. Species retained their individuality, but existed in a state of quantum interconnection that made conflict not just undesirable, but incomprehensible. Humanity had achieved what their ancestors could never have imagined. Not through force of arms or technological superiority, but through the patient cultivation of understanding. They had transformed the galaxy not by conquering it, but by helping it transcend its own limitations. The age of conflict was over. The dawn of expanded consciousness had begun. And in the heart of the crucible, surrounded by the quantum pulse of transcended reality, humanity looked to the future, not just of their galaxy, but of existence itself. The real journey was just beginning.